But let's get into it. The final segment. Basically, we're going to be talking about the Ravens defense and how we think it's going to function, how it's going to be led. Because, there's two parts of a defense. There's the front seven, and then there's the back seven, or the back end, because, it's technically not 14 players, but, whatever. That's what we call it. The front seven and the back end. And in traditional Ravens defense, it's been the front seven. They've led the Ravens, stop the run at all costs first. Then we can stop the pass. And we still got playmakers, guys like Ed Reed, guys like Ladarius Webb, guys like Deion Sanders, Rod Woodson, Chris McAllister, a lot of guys. But then that front seven, we've talked about it plenty of times earlier this episode, even in the pass rushers, guys like Peter Boulware, Terrell Suggs, Adalius Thomas, plenty, obviously, can't forget Ray Lewis in the front seven, but, all those types of guys have been with the Ravens. But in recent years, it's been the secondary leading the defense. And, with Marlon Humphrey, Marcus Peters, Jimmy Smith, Chuck Clark, whoever we've put at free safety, whether it's Earl Thomas, Eric Weddle. I was thinking Ed Reed, but Eric Weddle, Deshaun Elliott, all those guys, Jimmy Smith. But this next year, what do you think the Ravens defense is going to be built upon next year? Is it going to be the back end, or is it going to be the front seven?
Honestly, in my opinion, I'm going to say the front seven. Excuse me. No, not the front seven. Sorry, guys. I mean the back. And granted, y'all, like I said, I played football. I played it in the 3 technique, 2 technique, whatever. I don't mind getting grimy and dirty. I don't mind talking shit to my my opponent, but I really feel like it's going to be the secondary, man. Just off the strength, they got Marlon Humphrey. And side note, our secondary is actually coming down and making tackles. If y'all forgot the playoff game between the Tennessee Titans, Deshaun Elliott made Derrick Henry just get on his knees and pray and sit out for a minute. That says a lot. When your secondary is not scared to tackle. The only person on secondary may not tackle is Marcus Peters. But hey, he makes up for it for interceptions and pick sixes, so I'm okay with that. But we addressed the safety position with Brandon Stevens and also our undrafted free agent as a steal.
Darius Washington.
We also brought in a nickel corner in Sean Wade. I know we want to see Tavon Young back and also maybe possibly move him back to a free safety to extend his career, give him some longevity. Also with Jimmy Smith, I've been saying it. Don't be surprised if Wink does it, because if you put Jimmy Smith back there, if you put a Tavon Young back there to roam, I'm not saying they have the IQ of an Ed Reed, but they have enough IQ to come over top, cover the ball, and at least give you an interception or a pass deflection. Especially Jimmy Smith. Jimmy Smith been in the league for a while, and he is one of those corners. He's one of those underrated corners, but a high-profile guy. Only for the simple fact that he hasn't been consistent playing in healthy seasons. But if you see and you watch Marlon Humphrey, you call him Fruit Punch. He reminds you of a linebacker that can stay with some of the best damn receivers in the league. I mean, it's exciting to see. You even see Anthony Averett. He's finally, catching. He's finally getting his legs under him now. He's a good, solid number 2 cornerback. He's not a number 1, but he can stay with some of the number 2 wide receivers. He can get you a pass deflection, things of that nature. So the addition, and then with these additions, you can tell that with the NFL being so pass heavy, that we are actually addressing those needs. Granted, yes, we need an edge rusher. We address those in the draft, but that back seven has been the saving grace. Those guys has definitely helped us out. Yes, we have had touchdowns scored on us, but at the same token, them guys do play lights out when the front seven is not getting to the quarterback. and we didn't got so many coverage sacks. That's why Matthew Judon is there in New England getting paid.
Oh yeah.
So I'm seeing that back seven, continue to produce from what they've been doing.
Yeah, I think when you mentioned the topic, before we started recording, and we decided, let's roll with it. My initial thought, back seven, easily. But I'm going to go with the front seven. And why that is because I think that this defense will still be predicated on stopping the run. Yes, we are very good against the pass, but with the additions that the Ravens have made, in the last 2 years, they're trying to get back to Ravens football. They wanted the guys in the locker room that are, they play like a Raven. We no longer have Earl Thomas. Earl Thomas is a great freaking player. He's a very good secondary piece. He probably made our secondary better, but he didn't play like a Raven. He wasn't, trying to do all those other things. And with the additions of Adafe Away, Dalen Hayes, obviously last year we drafted 2 young linebackers that are really the new leaders of our defense. We extended Tyus Bowser. The whole defense can stop the run. We brought in Calais Campbell. We look at what happened in that Tennessee Titans playoff game. We went all out on stopping Derrick Henry. And it completely worked. He had 41 yards, 49 yards, something like that. He had less than 50 yards rushing for the first time in a very long time. And that's because of the Ravens front seven. You look at the Bills game. The Bills were afraid to pass the football. Or I'm sorry, they were afraid to run the football against the Ravens. They knew, Devin Singletary and Zachary Moss were not going to get anything. So they had to throw it. And the Ravens defense being built on this front seven in stopping the run forces teams to throw the ball more against them, which is why we see so many big plays from our secondary, in my opinion. Because if we did not have, the run stopping ability that we have, look at previous years, games against, the Cleveland Browns, oh, look, it's Nick Chubb running for, a 90-yard touchdown run against the Ravens. And now it's like, granted, the Ravens-Browns game last year, I think, had 9 rushing touchdowns on Monday Night Football. It was a lot, Kareem Hunt, but it was a lot about the passing game because the Browns, they weren't able to run it as well because the Ravens sell out to stop the run. That's their whole identity. That's always been the Ravens' identity. I think it's only been one time in the history of the Ravens where they haven't been top 10 in run defense, and I think that was the year Matt Schwab was our quarterback because Joe Flacco was injured. But maybe even back then they were top 10. But the Ravens defense has always been about stopping the run, and it's always been because of that front seven and having young linebackers, guys like Patrick Queen, guys like Malik Harrison, who can run and get to the football. Now we got Adafe Away, who is in some games he's going to be the fastest player on the field, unless we're playing the Chiefs, unless we're playing maybe the Seahawks. Against half the teams in the if we go up against the Pittsburgh Steelers, Adafe Away will be the fastest player on the field at all times.
Facts.
He's going to be able to get sideline, to middle of the field, maybe even sideline to sideline, even from the edge spot with his athleticism. And that's going to put them in a bind. They're going to be forced into having to throw the football more. And that's going to all be because of the athleticism and the hard hitting and athletic ability of our front seven, which will cause them to pass the ball, which will help out our secondary because we got a really good secondary. If we had a bad secondary, it would not be a good situation. But our secondary, I will say, is better. It's better than our front seven, but I think the front seven is still the main component of this defense because it's all about forcing people to pass into our star-studded secondary where we can force turnovers for days, especially if our Darius Washington makes the team, especially if Tavon Young is healthy. If Brandon Stevens, is able to step in, all those guys can go out, make big plays, make interceptions. And then obviously we got the fumble forcing machine and Marlon Humphrey. And even, we got what is it? Is it the fruit punch?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's wait, which one's Marcus Peters? He's the fruit punch. No. What's Marcus Peters? Man.
MP the juice, man.
Is it the juice punch? What did we call it? I can't remember what we called it. Maybe it was the juice punch, and then the fruit punch. Because Marcus Peters has gotten in on the stripping.
Man. I never man. Listen, we got so many nicknames for the secondary. So all right. So since you go with the front seven,
yeah,
who's that one player for you is going to lead the charge out of that front seven?
The guy that's going to set the tone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with Odafe Oweh.
Okay.
I think he's going to be that guy. I think teams are going to have to recognize, okay, this is where he is at all times. Now, is he going to be the best player? No, but he's going to be the guy that's able to make a lot of plays. Like his statistics may not be as high. Like, Patrick Queen will probably lead him in tackles. Malik Harrison will probably make the most big hits. But Odafe Oweh will be the guy that when you're lining up and you're the Cleveland Browns and you look across, you're Baker Mayfield, you look across that right side, you've got a stretch right to, Nick Chubb, and you're like, we got to flip that. Odafe Oweh's on that side. He's getting out there. He's going to stop him. That's the type of thing that Odafe Oweh is going to bring. He's going to make teams question whether or not they can do certain things. And then I think he'll get some sacks. Wink Martindale's going to be using to get sacks. But I think Odafe Oweh is going to come in and really take this defense to the next level, just in the ability to get everywhere on the field with that athleticism. So Odafe Oweh is gonna lead the charge.
Y'all hear this, Raven family? Now McConnell got high hopes. Y'all watched the episodes. Y'all heard his draft grade. Now I gave the man a C+, but if he don't turn out like Ezekiel Ansah, then I'll do something crazy. At the end of the season, me and McConnell gonna have to make a bet. If Mr. Oweh can, if he can rack up some crazy numbers, if he wins the bet, man, I'll do something crazy next time we record, man. I promise y'all.
All right, so now everybody has become a massive Odafe Oweh fan. I've got him. I believe in him. I think Wink Martindale's going to do some special things with him, and he's going to be a menace on the field. Like I think Ryan Shazier type of guy, where it's just like you're like we can't really go outside because Ryan Shazier's going to get there and make that play. He's going to slow down that running back. So that's high praise. Ryan Shazier was an absolute demon on the field. Shout out to him for his recovery process.
No doubt, man.
I feel like that's pretty good for this episode, unless we got anything else to go over.
Man, I'm good, man. I mean, after that praise, man, I think we good to go, man.
All right, well, that's going to be it, everybody, for this full podcast recording. If you're just watching this segment on YouTube, go check out the other two segments. Talked about Jalen Ferguson, talked about the wide receiver roster, who's going to make the team, where we rank players, the depth chart, that type of thing. Thank y'all for watching. Subscribe for daily Ravens content. If you're listening on the podcast platform, please give us a rate, a review, that type of thing. It's really appreciated. Helps out the podcast. But thank y'all for watching. See you again tomorrow.
All right, y'all have a good one now.